Arrow Season 6, Episode 9, Irreconcilable Differences. So this is a pretty interesting mid-season finale. Going through the episode, it was definitely like, the whole episode was pretty much like, this is an episode about team trust and the chaos that comes along with no longer trusting your teammates. And it was nuts. It was a crazy episode. Like, it starts off as like, alright, we have the wedding of, or like the ceremony, I guess, of Oliver and Felicity. And then Lance comes along and is like, hey, somebody is testifying against you who knows that you were the Green Arrow, and it's someone that's a part of the team. So now it's like, all right, well, who is it? And let's be honest, I think we're all in the same range where it was like, all right, well, obviously it's not going to be Felicity, Diggle, or Thea. That's like the original group. Also, Thea is his sister, unless something crazy, some weird mind control thing happened, which comic book universe, that wouldn't have been too crazy. But I'm like, of course it's going to be like, it's either Dinah, Renee, or Curtis. It's like the new guys. Like, of course it's going to be one of them. So going through the episode is like, all right, we have Dinah who is talking to Vigilante. She was saying his name and everything. I thought it was super weird. Maybe I just didn't notice that before. But there was a scene, in this episode at least, because I'm like, I don't remember her actually saying Oliver's name. And in this episode, she totally said it. She was like, Oliver saved me from the brink of destruction or something like that. And I was like, has she said that before? Has she said that it was Oliver before? So that, I was like, oh, that's a terrible idea. Maybe there is no actual witness. Maybe it was just the fact that she said something like that, just kind of in passing. And so now, Vigilante is the one who has the information. But the team is, or the original members of the team are spying on the new members of the team. And of course, they see Dinah and it's like, well, we don't know if we can trust her. It's like, it doesn't matter if she is, the witness or not. At this point, we don't know if we can trust her because this is a huge secret, to be keeping from us. So she's kind of left out of the mission in this episode, and they end up going to Argus. They end up, trying to steal this thing that's going to allow for Caden James to like increase the yield of his thermobaric grenade or his thermobaric explosion, whatever it's going to be, if it's going to be a rocket or a bomb. So that's pretty nuts. Apparently everything's kind of working out, and it's really weird because they talk about the thermobaric stuff, which is in itself huge, and then they say like, well, this will amplify it. That's like the whole city plus more. So it's going towards this very interesting route, and of course they have to do this because Black Siren ends up kidnapping Lance. She like beat the crap out of Thea because Thea is still like building herself back up, so she's like, just slammed her into the table and everything. So they kidnap Lance, they get the thing from Argus, they tamper with it, and then they go on the mission. It's like, alright, have this whole crazy situation, they confront Dinah about it, and then they find out that it's actually Renee. So everything's just kind of crazy. They kick Renee out, but ultimately they come together. It's like, alright, let's do this, let's be a full team, let's go save Lance. And they go on this mission, and things just fall apart. We have Curtis and Renee who decide to kind of do their own thing because Oliver doesn't trust them enough to kind of let them off the leash a little bit. So they decide to do their own thing and go after Lance, while Oliver is trying to deal with Caden James. And he tries to give him the thing, and it's like, see, what I wanted was something that wasn't tampered with. And so it's like, alright, well, what the heck? Like, how does he know that it's being tampered with? Which is a nice little reveal. Very simple, but it's like, hey, like, put a camera in. It's about as simple as it gets. That whole raid was actually just to put a camera in. It was like, oh, well, that's very simple and clean. That's how it's done. So, he knows that something's going wrong. We have a pretty cool action sequence with Oliver. He sets off like, 2 flashbangs out of the bow, which I thought was actually really cool. And so he sets off the explosions, then he goes into, just beating everybody up. Dinah comes in to help him out as backup, and then of course Renee and Curtis are like way off somewhere else. They end up finding Lance, dealing with Black Siren, and we have a pretty cool moment between Lance and Siren, which, now that I think about it, based on the ending, I was like, maybe this is happening because, she's actually getting, feelings for Lance and stuff, and, they're starting to bond in this really odd way. And then, the end of the episode comes along, and I was like, maybe that was just a part of the plan. It was to let Lance go anyway. It was like, that was the whole point of the plan. Like, everything they've done so far has been a part of the plan. So maybe her letting him go was always a part of it. It's like, don't distract them, don't rally them together by killing someone, because that's what's going to happen. Like, they'll be worried about trust, but it's like, we have to rally together. Like, we just lost somebody. That would cause them to rally, together and get over their issues. But you let that guy live, and all the issues, there's nothing beyond their trust issues. There's no death that they have to mourn. It's just like, we don't trust each other now. So I think at this point that was a part of the plan as well, was making it seem like Black Siren was, actually starting to get feelings for Lance, because it's like, they talk about how he would go get the same sort of cake and stuff like that. So it was like, I don't know, maybe that was a part of the plan the whole time. But either way, it comes down to the end, and Oliver was pissed off. He was of course mad, and he didn't know who he could trust, and he kicked Renee off the team. And then Dinah's like, you know what? You're right. It's about trust, and you guys spied on me, so I don't know if I can trust you anymore. So I'm out. And then, like an hour later or whatever, when they're meeting up again, Curtis comes along and is like, yeah, sorry, it's trust. You guys spied on me, and it's like whether or not you can trust me is irrelevant, because now I don't think I can trust you, so I'm out too. And it's like, well, geez, they lost. They lost half the team, and Oliver's just like, yeah, we'll move on and stuff. But it's just like, man, this is crazy. Half the team is gone, and they need to figure out. It's like, how did James know that we tampered with the thing? And that's where we find out that they had the little camera in there. And then it gets super crazy, because we get to the end of this episode, and it's just like a little league of villains, like a little evil villain team, where we have Caden James, we have Black Siren, we have that other dude who was with him in another episode. I don't even know his name. But then we have like three. Then it was really crazy how it played out, because at first it was like, oh crap, it's Anatoly, like he's working with the villains, and then Vigilante comes in, and he's working with the villains, which is also really crazy. So I want a clear answer on that, because I know he like kills the bad guys, but he's working with the bad guy who's trying to like blow up the city. So is there like some super crazy ulterior motive here that's gonna come up, where they're actually trying to be like other vigilantes who killed the bad guys, and they're just trying to push out Team Arrow? Because that would be insane if that was the case. I would be like, holy crap, that's not what I expected. But yeah, Anatoly is there to go up against Oliver. You have Vigilante, who is there to mess with Dinah, and then you have I forgot the guy's name, but Diggle's drug dealer pretty much is there, and I was just like, this is freaking nuts. It's like this little Legion of I don't know if they'll go Legion of Doom and all that crap. Actually they already did the Legion of Doom. That was in Legend of Tomorrow, so they can't do that. But that was just nuts. I was like, there's someone pretty much for every member of the team here. Like, you even have Black Siren is for Lance. Like, the only person that doesn't have someone that to really go against them, I guess, would be Curtis. I mean, Curtis and Renee technically, but Diggle, they have his drug dealer there. Caden James is basically the rival for Felicity. You have Black Siren, of course, for Lance. You have Anatoly for Oliver. So, and then Vigilante for Dinah. So everybody has something pretty much, and it's just like, this is nuts. That's not what I was expecting. Where it's like, oh, everybody just starts coming out of the woodworks, and it's like, here's this lineup of villains. So I thought that was insane. But I love the way the episode ended, and it was really good. The whole way through, I'm just like, man, it's the team falling apart because they don't know who to trust. Renee decides, he's going to be the witness, because if he doesn't testify, then he's screwed, because he'll never see his daughter again, because apparently they had some sort of smoking gun, which, considering what they're, what we find out in this episode, I assume that smoking gun had to have been the hidden camera. Like, that has to be what that smoking gun was at some point, where it's like, I know that you're this person, because when he said that, it was like, she knew that he was, he had his own superhero persona. It was like, okay, how did she know that? Like, where, what could have screwed up? What could they have done to screw up where she could find out that information? And it turns out, once they got raided, boom, little camera, tons of, tons of content there, just saying, talking about their superhero personas and all that stuff. So it's like, she really did have a case against them, so he had to turn on the team. And it was just crazy. It was just like, wow, that was like the first step. And then, that led to everybody finding out about the spying thing, and that led everybody to walk away. So, very interested in the second half of this season. It seems like Renee, Curtis, and Dinah form their own team, which should be very interesting. So they will still go out in the field, but, they of course won't be working with Oliver and the team. So, curious how that'll play out. We'd love to see Thea come back into the fold as Speedy. I think that'd be really cool. They do say her name Speedy. They have Black Siren say that. So I would love for that to be the case. I want to see her come back pretty soon. I think it might be a couple more episodes, unfortunately, but I would love to see it. I think that'd be really cool to see Thea come back as Speedy. But this is a good episode. Fun all the way through. And then just a crazy little reveal at the end where it's like, all these villains have been working together. Still curious about the whole vigilante thing. That would also be another crazy twist if he was playing the villains. Whereas, like, yeah, I don't really care because, Oliver and the rest of the team, really, they've always been a vigilante's way from killing the other villains. So maybe he's the one who's playing everybody. That would be nuts, too. So either all of them are working together to be, like, vigilantes, or maybe vigilante's just playing everybody else, where it's like he's playing, just to get Team Arrow out of the way, and then it's like, all right, that's all said and done. I got an in with these villains, and then he'll try to, kill them. That might get him killed. We'll see what happens. But I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities, so I'm looking forward to how things are going to play out in the second half of this season. Of course, would love to know what you guys thought about this episode, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts about it, your least favorite parts about it. And I would love to know what you guys thought about the reveal at the end with, all the villains. Of course, the biggest one, I kind of wish they saved that for last, but Anatoly was, like, the best reveal, and that was the first one that they did. But it was just like, holy crap, I did not see that one coming. So, Anatoly and Vigilante were definitely, like, the top two. And then the other guy, it was just a big surprise because it was, like, that's what kind of set it up, where it's, like, pretty much everyone here has, like, their, counterpart on Team Arrow. So, I loved it. I thought it was a great reveal. But yeah, that was really awesome. Like, Anatoly being there, I was just like, holy crap. He wasn't, I guess technically that means he was a part of the deal, the whole issue beforehand. Like, when he first came in, I guess it was technically him. He was a part of all of that. So that's very interesting. But yeah, that was a really cool reveal at the end. I really enjoyed that. That might be my favorite kind of mid-season finale, like right at the end of the episode moment. I think that might be my favorite so far, just for the Anatoly thing. Because I was like, okay, we saw him earlier in the season. It's like, of course, they're basically, they're full-on rivals now, but he's still cool. And then it turns out that is not the case. He is not cool at all with Oliver. He's teaming up with other villains to take them down. So, puts him in a different light. But I'm definitely excited. Like I said, would love to know what you guys thought about this episode. Of course, what you guys thought about the crazy reveal of all the villains being teamed up. And like I said, I definitely want to know your theories for what's going to happen. Not only what you thought about the ending, but what you think's going to happen with the team being split in half, pretty much. Thea, kind of being in this weird position. I feel like they'll try to bring her back, but she does have to take time to recuperate. So it still might be a couple more episodes before we get to see the Speedy costume again, because it feels like it's been forever. But yeah, I would love to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please put your comments down in the comment section below. And of course, thanks for watching.